Hello everyone and welcome to the now titled Hooting About series where I ramble about PS1 related topics. Today I want to discuss the idea of having more third-party products for the PS1. Now, I don't want to paint the picture that the PS1 lacks third-party products. In fact, the system has a healthy list of third-party products throughout its history. There's the slew of licensed products, the availability of parts, the mods for playing games from different regions, and the amount of cables and upscalers for better image quality. So if that's the case, then what am I talking about? I'm pointing towards the possibilities and what could be there. I understand that for the most part these are all theoretical, but hear me out. At the expense of sounding like an entitled child, I got the idea from looking at the amount of support retro handhelds like the original DMG are getting and being jealous. I don't want to sound disrespectful for both communities. What people have done for each device is amazing. But I can't help envy to a degree the amount of customization one can do to the DMG, turning it into a very personalized item. And it made me think, why hasn't something similar done for the PS1? There's people sharing their PS1 makeovers and for the most part getting a lot of positive feedback. Isn't there a market for this? Now granted, there are more pressing and impressive things to work on, but it can be done in parallel, not linearly. Now there are a few points that can be raised against the idea, like how the DMG is a handheld and the PS1 isn't, and I don't really believe this holds any ground. As I mentioned, there's already a good amount of history in terms of community or third-party support for either platform, so saying that one is kinda pointless. Some might point out the multiple revisions of the PS1, to which I say it virtually doesn't matter. If we're talking about the form factor, there's basically two PS1 designs, the original Grey and the PS1 Slim. And if we're talking about the multiple changes done to the original design, I think it's not an issue because for the most part, they're practically the same barring a few ports here and there. There's gotta be a way to make molding where some parts are modular, where you get to pop out something that shouldn't be there. Now, if we're talking about the schematics and the engineering, I don't think it would be much of a problem now than it was several years ago. There's a lot of documentation for the system and a lot of mods have already dealt with certain limitations. Not to mention, pre-existing mods are being updated frequently, so it's only a matter of time till things get better than they already are. Some might mention the look of the console and how it's a classic, and while I agree that you can't really beat the original Grey, I don't think it's necessarily bad to have options for aesthetic customization. Going back to the DMG, people also love the classic look, but that didn't stop creators from making amazing designs that help people have their own personalized DMG. I like to think the same can be said for the PS1. And of course, there's the usual people don't care. While I do agree that retro gaming is a niche and not as mainstream as we like to think it is, I also believe it's super easy to disregard something and say people aren't interested. There's a lot of ways to gauge interest in today's time, so there's kinda no excuse. With all that said, what were the things I thought of? Granted, some of these are simple to the point of being low-hanging fruit, but I think they could be a good starting point. Since I won't shut up about looks, let's get this out of the way. I wish there were more console shells, controller shells, and buttons, hell, even stickers. And I'm not talking about new old stock, but newly made ones. I really like the idea of customizing things we own to make them more personal, and I like to believe that others do as well. Shells of different colors and styles are there for people who have the money to shell out, while stickers are for those who want to keep things simple. Of course, if possible, the stickers could be stylized as well, not just simple prints, and could maybe protect the system from scratches. Next is more for the PS1 Slim fans like myself. I always had the impression that modders love the original PS1 more. Maybe it's easier to make stuff for the original, I don't really know. But I hope that someday, the mods that we have from the bigger PS1 finds a way to get into its smaller sibling. Another Slim related thought is I'm amazed that no one has made an improved version of the LCD screen accessory. I understand that most people would rather hook up their console to their TVs and that's fine. I guess I'm bringing this up for the spirit of the thing. The accessory is really hard to find, and when you do find one, they can be really expensive. And in an age where there's a lot of things available for makers, I honestly think this is a good idea. And don't forget good sounding speakers that can be muted. So that's about all of them. Yeah, I know, it's anticlimactic and not a lot, but what do you guys think? Are there any PS1 products or mods that you wish were a thing? Or maybe this is a bout of wishful thinking on my part? Please feel free to leave them in the comments. Who knows, this video might act as a jumping point for prospective modders and tinkerers. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, what do you think about the series name? I wanted to go for an owl pun, as cheesy as it is, and I hope that you guys like it or at least can stand it. If you like what you saw, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I want to reach 100 subs before we reach the second half of the year, so I hope you can help me on that. I have a Twitter at KenAthomos if you want further updates or if you want to hear me ramble. There's also a Ko-fi page if you want to further support the channel. Links are in the description. Take care!